Our message today, daring greatly to have healthy relationships. Now, I don't know about you, but when I've been working through relationships most of my life, I thought healthy relationship was an oxymoron because I either had healthy things or relationship, but they weren't both the same. But they are not an oxymoron. There is a way to do it. We're going to be talking about some of the tools that have worked for us.
Do some oxymorons.
I love oxymorons. Jumbo shrimp. Patiently waiting.
Right.
Constructive criticism. Somebody said, well, don't you learn? You can learn from something. That doesn't mean it's actually constructive. You can have your emotions and self-esteem knocked down by criticism. And yes, you will learn something from it, but to me, it's not constructive. I like constructive feedback, not criticism. I have on my Facebook, no criticism allowed on my page or anybody else on my page, but feedback is welcome. Also, no unsolicited advice. Yeah, so my page has gotten really nice when I started setting up some good boundaries. So I guess there's some Brene Brown emphasis in this month as well. And Brene Brown is so wonderful. She's so good on boundaries. You know, she says that you can trust a person's yes if they have a strong no. In other words, people that set good boundaries, you can trust them when they say yes. You know, that they're not just humoring you. They mean it because when something doesn't work for them, they're clear about their no.
And that's good in a healthy relationship as well.
Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You know, it's so important because Jesus said to love thy neighbor. He didn't say to hang out with all of them. Right? Okay? You have to have certain boundaries with people that no longer vibrate with you. I had a friend of mine a few years ago, and we had been friends for years, and it just stopped working. It just stopped working. It just didn't feel right anymore, and I prayed on it, and I worked on it, and finally I said, it's not working for me. I don't want to blame you. But she just kept pushing. Yeah, but what did I do? It's not anything. It's just that our conversations don't work. Yeah, but I don't understand it. You're not doing your work. And I said, listen, you are a beautiful flower. Gorgeous. I've just become allergic to your pollen. But she never spoke to me again. But I thought that was pretty nice. It's not her. It's not her. It was me. Anyway, okay, so let's do a special music song right in alignment with Divine Order, which is our go-to. Our special music song is Everything Will Be Okay in the End, and if it's not okay, it's not the end. And I wrote that after watching the movie The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Yes. So we'll teach you the words and then you sing along with us. It's very repetitive. I like that. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if your balloon's low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. All right, we're gonna sha-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has to have some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day, a brand new day, a sunny Albuquerque day. Everybody sing it now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's sha-la-la-la time. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change. That's okay because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. Perfect. It's not the end. It's like the end. Woo. It's not the end. It's not the end. If you don't like the weather, wait a day. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. But this is the end. Nice dancing, Leslie. Nice dancing. Great job, all of y'all. We've got the Albuquerque Unity Dancers in the back. That's awesome. All right. So we want to let you know, sir, since it is your first time here, and Marie brought her brother, please give Reverend Gordon a second chance and come back next week. I always get nervous if somebody's first time is us. Thank you for wearing tie-dye today. You know, I'll tell you something that when I first bought this suit on Amazon in 2021, she said, "What is that for?" And I said, "For Sunday." She went, "Oh, hell
Really?
no." She said, "They won't be able to hear your message. They're going to be too weirded out by your clothes."
Focused on what you're wearing.
So my wife, the more mature one of the two of us, had me buy some black slacks. And I put the black slacks on, and it did look better. And so I said, "Can I make a deal with you? When I go to a church where I know they love us, and they're very open-minded and very colorful and very gay in every aspect of the word, can I wear it?" She said yes. So, thank you. All right, so we're going to talk about some different tools that work with healthy relationship. But what I want to remind you, and I know you already know this, but it's very important to know that what we see is a mirror and a reflection of what's going on inside of us in many, many ways. I don't like to say absolutes, but in general, okay, in general, one of the ways I like to think of it is the idea of the projector, that we're all walking around with a projector on our head. Now, in relationships, I had so many troubled times, especially in romantic relationships. They would last about 2 years, 2.5 years, maybe at the most, before they realized who they were with. And you know, it's funny because in the beginning, they always said, "You are so assertive," you know, because I'm go-getter. And then after 1.5 years or so, they dropped the ertive. It was weird. Anyway, so I had challenges, and I had a similar thing happen almost every time. It would start off, it was really great, the pink cloud, we had everything in common, we both had parents, you know, all these things that just lined up. And you know, when you're in new love, you think everything that the other person does is like a miracle. Oh my God, I went to kindergarten too. You know, you get excited about things. And then after a while, it would always end up the same way. And I kept saying, I keep picking the wrong people. And then I realized, no, I'm taking with me this projector, and I'm projecting on to whoever is going to mirror back to me what I need to look at. And a lot of it, I didn't want to look at it. I had to change me. I had to stop thinking about how I'm going to pick the right person and become the right person. Now, part of it was, thank you, part of it was I didn't feel that I deserved it. Now, I could go back into my childhood as to why around 2 or 3 years I didn't feel like I deserved a woman's love. But the problem with that is even though I can address where it came from, where the seeds were planted, I was the one watering the seeds for 40 years, okay? And then I started doing some prayer work and decided I would start to work on myself and be the kind of guy that I wanted to attract in a person instead of finding a person that would help me to become the kind of guy I am. And it actually is both. You see, it's both. You do your own work, but then when you find the right person, which I finally did 23 years ago, I don't remember the exact date. I mean, it's kind of elusive, August 27, 2000. When I was singing at Angelina's church. And so I want to sing a country song because,
I'm just going to interrupt there. What was kind of cool for us is we were just friends for months. And so we really got to know each other in a different way. Like when you're trying to, be with someone and you want them to really like you, you don't maybe say everything. But because we were friends, we really knew everything about each other.
We did. And here's a funny thing. On November 18th, at a friendly platonic lunch, I told her what I do for a living and how I travel all around the country and how I was always busy. And she goes, wow, you live an exciting life. I could never date someone like you.
I did.
And November 18th, I just found out is a special date. That is Mickey and Minnie Mouse's birthday, which was the day that we had our lunch. And the reason that's their birthday is because that's the day that Steamboat Willie came out. And so we're going to do a country song because to me, country songs, they just have a feeling and a spirit to them where they can project an important message. Like one of my favorite songs that really projected an important message was kind of like, bless her heart. We're in the South. See, we live in Florida, but I'm from Louisiana. We have to drive 4 hours north from our house in Orlando to get to the South. That's the absolute truth. You don't know, but you can come there. We understand that a lot of people are migrating to Albuquerque from our wonderful state. Our state has not become the most inclusive. but anyway, good to have you here. It's great. So anyway, this song is called Had to Be Somebody because the message I got was I need to become more of what I want in my relationships, in my work relationships, in my love relationships, in my friendship relationships, and in my familial relationships. Become the kind of person that boomerangs out what I want to come back. So we're going to sing that little country song right now. Well, I've been waiting for you to love me. I dressed up nice so you would see me. I did everything I could to please you. I sang you a song so I could tease you. But I didn't know what to do to make you love me too. Cause I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you, started looking at me to be somebody. I had to be somebody, yeah. Well, I've had girls that said they loved me, 12 of them. They always held their hearts above me. But that all changed when I found you. I got married once before, she left me too. But I didn't know what to do to give my heart to you. Cause I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you and you and you, I started looking at me to be somebody. I had to be somebody, yeah. Okay, here comes some deep country. Change yourself and you'll change your world. Find yourself and you'll find that guy or girl. Whoa, whoa, whoa. George Strait, eat your heart out, Daddy. Can you imagine George Strait in an outfit like this? I guess he wouldn't be straight no more, would he? Woo! But now I found out what to do that's gonna make you love me too. I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you and you I started looking at me to be somebody. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. We all gotta be somebody. Yeehaw. I got that from the Barbie show. Someone. Oh, shucks. So we travel around. Yeah, there were 12 what I consider to be long-term life partnerships before Angelina. But it worked out great. I met her at a Unity Church in Florida, and the minister said, there is no 13, Armand. Everything starts over after 12. She's number one. And that turned out great.
That did.
Turned out good, number one. So we travel together all over the country. We're almost always together. We're 24/7. We're one of those couples. Not everybody was meant to do this all the time. Trust me. Don't try it at home. It's only for trained professionals, but it works. It works. We're extremely complementary, and we're also complimentary. You look good, but yeah. So we're extremely complementary. Things work really well with us, but we have had to develop some tools, lots of different tools that help us to stay together 24/7 and not do something. Okay, so
we study something called Real Love by Greg Bear. And his work is really good. And so one of the things he says, talks about, is the law of expectation and the law of choice. And so the law of expectation is, when we have expectations, there's usually resentment or disappointment. So I like to make the bed in the morning. Armand does not. So I make the bed, and he can't understand why I make the bed.
because you're going to get back in it.
Right. But I don't understand why he doesn't make the bed. So anyway, I can have an expectation and say, why won't he make the bed? I'm really upset he's not making the bed today. He was the last one out of bed. He should make the bed. Well, with that expectation, if I just go, I want the bed made, I'm going to make the bed. And if he's still in it, I'll make half the bed and he can have
Which she does. It's hysterical. It's hysterical. The other day I went out to play tennis, and our cat, Mr. Kitty, also known as Claude Van Damme, he decided to get where I sit, and she had to make the bed around the cat. That was awesome. It's like, that's my guy. And so, yeah, it's good not to have expectations, and it's also good to understand that your partner and the people in your life, they have the choice to make a different choice. Now, I'm going to say it in the way Greg Bear says it, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but he says, imagine you're married to somebody that takes off their clothes and throws them on the ground. And you're really upset. I need you not to do that. Pick up your clothes. So he says, you can either stay with the pig or you can leave the pig. But it is not your job to change the pig. And that is a very powerful thing. And we have both used this with each other. I remember one time I wanted to go to a meeting, a Real Love meeting, and she was busy. And I said, we're supposed to go. She goes, I'm not going to be able to go today. And I felt myself, but you said you were going to go. I had an expectation. She had a choice not to go. And I'm getting ready to go to a Real Love meeting where they teach that, and I wasn't experiencing it. It's like rushing off to meditation and yoga class. You know, I'm hearing. Anyway, so we're learning all the time. She has a great tool that she uses often in the car.
Oh, I was going to talk about another one first.
Why don't you talk about another one first?
Thanks. So I have learned through menopause, because I never know what my mood is going to be, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's Medusa is what we call her.
That's her nickname. Medusa's
Right.
here. Shut up.
Right. And so I can feel that coming on, and so what I tell him, and he already knows this in advance so he doesn't feel abandoned, I say, I have to go outside, I have to sit in my chair, just give me a few minutes and I'll be back. So I go outside, sit in my favorite little chair and sit there, and I don't ever go back in until one, I've calmed down, and two, to make sure, is this something we need to talk about? So when I go back in, we have to talk about it. Or is it just me and my Medusa mind in the moment? And it's usually just Medusa acting out, and I can come back in and say, okay, sorry, I'm really sorry to have acted out, and I apologize. We don't have to talk about it.
But there's a twist, because while she's out there, I'm thinking, did I say things? Was what I said kind or necessary? And that's a great question you ask. You know, the first question you ask if you're going to say something to somebody, is it true? If it passes that criteria, then you ask, is it kind or necessary? It doesn't have to be both. Sometimes you have to tell somebody something that's not kind, that's going to hurt their feelings, but it is necessary for a good boundary. But if it doesn't fit either of those, it's not kind or necessary, or it could have been said in a gentler way, which I realize often I could be that way. As a matter of fact, we'll be talking about menopause tomorrow, Wednesday night in our comedy show. We have a special song called Hotter Than Ever that I wrote for her, and some things that I learned in that. But yes, it's really, really wonderful. But when she comes back in, I have thought of all the things that I said that may have triggered her that could be said in a more gentle, loving way. She's not making me wrong. I'm not making her wrong. She comes in and apologizes. I apologize, and we move on very quickly. Right. We also find that when there is tension, the quicker you can start doing something funny, it helps.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
But the quicker you can move through some, I call it doo-doo, the better it is than to hold on to it and then to have resentment and anger around it. So
I'll give you an example of something. It doesn't always work, but usually it works. So let's say I say something that really bugs her, and I'll go, I'm getting by your reaction that you'd like me to do this more often. The minute I say that, she starts laughing with this look, and then we both start laughing. She knows I got it. You see, by humor. And I remember one time, we have a two-story house, so she's leaning over the balcony, mad at me about something, and I said, and I think her head spun around. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure. There was a little pee on the carpet. But anyway, so she says something to me, and I look at her eyes are glowing, and I go, who are you, and what have you done with my wife? The minute I said that, she snapped out of it and started laughing.
Right, it was very funny.
We laugh a lot. You know, it helps us get through it. Now, in the car, there's a wonderful thing that she does.
I don't know where I learned this tool, but it is great. So Armand says something, and in the car especially, because you can't go outside and sit in your chair. So in the car, this works really well. So Armand says something that is bugging me or annoys me, and I will take a sip of water and keep the water in my mouth, because you cannot talk if there's water in your mouth. And I don't know how many times that I've done that works so well. And so, he'll say something, I take a sip of water, and he's still continuing on, and I'm getting a little more irritated, take another sip of water, and if he doesn't stop, I hand the water cup to him so he can take a sip of water and have the water in his mouth. So
when she hands me the cup, I know.
And now he kind of looks at me when I grab the water and we're in a deep discussion. He's always wondering,
what's going on? She goes, I just need a drink.
Right.
So yeah, just many different things we can do in relationship that will help us to have those healthy, awesome relationships that I think that we crave. As the daily word, the togetherness, we crave these healthy relationships. But it's up to us to be daring greatly to learn different ways. Here's the deal. There are times when it is not required for you to do something, and you don't even owe it to them. But Greg Bear says, but you can give them a love gift anyway. So I'll give you an example. I do make the bed sometimes. It's not required. She doesn't need me to. But I'll tell you, it is an aphrodisiac. I'm sorry. It is. Men, make the bed and vacuum. Well, men, whatever. Anyway, oh my God, too much information. Okay, so yes, so that's some of the different tools.
I'm going to say one more thing.
Say three more things.
No, just one more thing. So we do a lot of conferences, and John Monday, who's a big Course in Miracle teacher, was one of the speakers one time, and he said, I can summarize the Course in Miracles in 3 sentences. Do not attack, do not defend, do not judge, thank you. And then I add another one, do not blame, because I thought, wow, those are great things to remember in our day-to-day world when things aren't quite like the joy that we want it to be all the time. And so I'm just sharing that with you, that maybe you can remember, do not attack, do not defend, do not judge, and do not blame.
And one of the most challenging things not to judge is people that are judgmental of you. That's a tough one. And I remember a Byron Katie. We have any Byron Katie fans out there? Byron Katie had a workshop, and a guy got up on stage, and he said, I'm so upset, I'm so frustrated, I am so resentful and angry at my parents. They have always judged me. They have not accepted me for who I am. And she goes, well, I don't know what planet you're on, but planet Earth is the planet of judgment. So you better get used to other people judging you. It's your choice to judge them back or to accept them. And again, sometimes you need to accept them with a boundary, and you need to state your intentions. If you're going to continue to do this treatment of me, I cannot be around your pollen. You know? And so it's that balance. It's that balance, you know, love thy neighbor as thyself. What about the thyself part we forget about? The new frontier, to me, the new earth, is self-love. Okay, because we're taught to love God and we're taught to love others, self last. You know, oxygen mask. In the case of emergency, an oxygen masks will be falling from the ceiling. Please place yours on first and then assist small children. If you have 2 children, pick your favorite. It doesn't say that last part, but I thought it would be cool if it did. Okay, so I think due to time restraints, we are going to finish up here. What's next?